wonder which one I stand in front of, dude. That's funny. Anyway, so I know it's hard to believe. A couple years ago, I matched with a supermodel on Tinder. Yeah, pretty cool, right? And I put my height on there and everything, right? So she starts asking me, we match on this date, and she wants to go see Marlon Wayne. He's a comic, right? And so I buy these 2 tickets. They're $50 a ticket. She even asked me, what are you going to wear? And I pick out an outfit. And, you know, whatever, we match. And then she tells me, tell me when you're there. I'm in the parking lot. I want to walk up at the same time. We're walking up. Right when I get there, she's like, where are you? I'm like, I'm right here. You know, and she's a beautiful supermodel. None of my friends believe me. I'm like, look at this girl. And then sure enough, right, she's like, oh, sorry, got cold feet, blocks me, and just boom. Right? Aw, so sad, right? Anyway, so I'm going to go into this comedy show now by myself. I'm like, well, I'm not going to let this go to waste. So as I'm walking in, I have my tickets, and they're scalpers because it's sold out, right? So I'm like, whatever. I'm walking in. Hey, I don't want this to go to waste. Does anybody want it? And this random dude is like, oh, me, please. And it's 2 guys and 2 girls. They're 2 couples. So he's like, I'll buy it from you. I say, dude, don't worry about it, man. Like, I don't want to lose my money. Here. I give it to him, and he says, cool, dude. Can I just buy you a beer after the show? I'm like, yeah, of course, man. So whatever. I go in, I watch the show. Show's great. It's hilarious, right? We're done. And, you know, when I'm leaving, I see my buddy. And he's like, hey, bro, we're going to go to this bar around the corner. Let me buy you that beer, man. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So we go in, and then I notice that it's 2 guys and 2 girls. They're couples. And I start noticing they're not together. So I'm like, okay, cool. So he starts, oh, her, don't worry about her, dude. Dude, do you want to hook up with her? And I'm like, buddy, I'm a Marine. I'll fuck anything, right? It was a long time ago. I'm a changed man now, you know. But, yeah, dude, thank me for my service, dude. Anyway, so yeah, man, so he's, you know, I start talking to this girl, and then he's like, yeah, you know, as a matter of fact, what do you think about this girl? And he starts showing me all these girls that he's friends with, right? And he's like, which one do you want to hook up with him? I'm like, all of them, right? Like, and so he says, you know what, dude, and he's real cool, he's real bro. He's like, get my number. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And he goes, send me a text so I have your number. I'm like, yeah, cool. And so for whatever reason, with like, I just got out of the military, like my Marine humor, you know, he's like, send me a text. So I sent him a bunch of squirt emojis and an eggplant, right? Yeah. And so he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he smiles, and he sends back eggplant, squirting emoji, and heart eyes, right? And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. This guy's cool. He's a bro, you know? And so time passes, right? And, you know, this couple says, we're going to step outside. And they go outside, and they start arguing and stuff, right? And, you know, and then this girl gets a phone call that he's with, and she says, I'll be right back. They're arguing. She runs outside. It's me and, you know, homeboy. He's a cool guy. You know, he's going to let me bang his friend, so he's really cool, right? And then he gets a call, and he's like, hey, let's go outside, man. Like, you know, things are crazy out there or whatever. And we go outside, and I start realizing that there's cops now involved, and they have the one couple and the other girl sitting down. I guess they got violent, right? And so the guy's like, I want nothing to do with this. And then they turn and they look at me and him, and they point at us, right? And then the cops look at us and start walking. So the guy, I've never met this guy. He's like, dude, just start walking. And for some reason, I just start walking with him, right? Yeah. And yeah, thank me for my service, dude. Anyway, so I'm walking with this guy, you know, and out of nowhere, he was really cool the whole time. He's like, yeah, bro, real macho, right? Like, and he ends up saying, dude, I know I just met you, man, but do you mind if I just crash your place, bro? And it's like, I lived in California at the time. It's like beach towns and stuff. So I was like, yeah, you know, for sure, brother, you know, like. And so I bring this dude home. Everything's cool. Again, he's super cool, super respectful. And right as we're getting to my apartment, right, I pull into like the driveway to my spot, and I pull in, and right when I'm pulling in, he says, hey man, why'd you go to that comedy show alone? And I'm like, yeah, I got catfished by some supermodel, man. She wasn't real. And he's like, yeah, dude, you shouldn't have gone alone. You're attractive. And I'm like, thanks, man. And then he says, no, you're like really attractive. I turn my car off and I'm like, all right, right on. Thanks for the compliment, brother, hombre, And so I started walking up to my apartment, and like right as I put my key in, I like jiggle my key and I look at him. I'm like, I don't normally do this, right? But no, I'm saying. It's a joke, relax, right? So I walk in, and it's California. We have roommates. We got a guy like renting out the living room. So it's California, right? And so, my roommate's in the living room on his huge mattress, right? Just smoking weed. He's hitting a bong. And I walk in with this random dude I just met, and I go to my room because my charger's gonna die. Like, my phone's gonna die, so I need my charger. So I walk into my room, and this man just throws himself on my bed, just boom, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. So I get my charger, and I go back out to the living room, and my roommate's just hitting this bong. And I start getting these text messages. It's from an unsaved number. Last text messages are squirt emojis and eggplants, right? And he's like, Justin, are you coming? And I'm like, psst, psst. And it's like, Justin, and my roommate hitting the bong. Justin, come lay down. Justin, are you coming? Justin. And it says, come cuddle. And I'm like, oh my God. And my roommate's just, right. So I turn my phone and I show it to my roommate, and we're single dudes always bringing like different girls home at the time, right? And so like I show him the phone, and he's like, and then as he's inhaling the smoke, he's like, who's that? And I'm just like looking at my room, and I'm just pointing to my room, and he blows out all the smoke. He goes, and he goes, I'm way too high for this shit, right? So I remember I have a pistol in my room, right? And so I'm like, oh shit, there's this random strange man in my room that I brought home, right? For whatever reason. Thank me for my service, dude. What the fuck? And so I go in and I grab my pistol, right? And then I go and I lay down on the couch. And as I'm laying down on the couch, like I went to the Iraq War, right? So I'm like laying down with my pistol, and he's got a pistol too, technically in my room, right? But like, so I'm laying down, right? And I keep hearing noises, right? And every time I would hear a noise, it was just my cat Harambe, right? And I was like, I would wake up like, damn it, Harambe, don't you know you have a 1,000% higher chance of getting shot for just having the name Harambe right now, right? Like 2016, right? And so, I keep waking up and I'm like panicking, right? And so, in the morning I wake up and for whatever reason, I walk up to him and I'm like, hey bro, you gotta go. I gotta go teach a jiu-jitsu class. And for whatever reason, I gave him a green apple and a glass of water, right? And he wakes up, bro, what happened last night, brother and man? And I was like, yeah, you gotta go, dude. So whatever, he leaves. He starts sending me some text messages like, sorry, I don't know what happened. I tell him like, it's all good, not my thing, man. He's like, LOL, you should have came and cuddled, right? So I go and I teach a jiu-jitsu class in the morning, and there's a guy named Mike Ness. I don't know if you know of him. He's like the king of punk rock, right? He trained in my gym, and they're waiting for me to unlock the door. So I start telling him the story. What happened last night? I'm like, bro, this and that. This guy, he's in my room. And I get to the point where, and Mike Ness is all covered in tattoos up to the neck. So I get up to the point where I'm like, dude, and then I told him he had to go, and then they're like, and then what happened next? I'm like, dude, I gave him a glass of water and a green apple. And then Mike Ness looks at me with tattoos on his neck, and he goes, you gave him breakfast, you fucking cock tease? And then I blocked him and I ghosted him, and that's pretty creepy. Anyway, I'm Justin Governale. Thank you so much.